A lot to say, but thank you very much.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off. I really am. I wish you well with what you're doing, and thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye now. We'll go now to Chilliwack, BC. We have a very splendid caller here. We have Jane Scott. Jane, are you there?
Jean, my bonnie Jean.
Yes, are you there?
Yes, Jean. Oh, you bet I'm here. In fact, luckily I'm still all here.
Well, I'm very glad. I understand because they've given me a note. You're 100 years old, am I right?
The Queen has her birthday the same day I have mine, but I have seniority of 14 years.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Now, tell me, you sound vigorous and healthy to me.
I am. Almost too much so.
How did you manage? How did you manage to keep this vigorous this long?
Well, I was practically born in my father's grocery store in Brandon, Manitoba, at home with an English midwife.
Wow.
And the Titanic went down, and I came out.
So you're the reason for the Titanic. Now we've got the story. Jane, have you had any encounters yourself? You don't sound like you did, but have you had any encounters yourself with the healthcare system in the last, I don't know, last decade?
Yes,
okay,
I applied. I had my name in to go to assisted living. I'm in one called where I'm independent living, and that means I'm doing my own breakfast, my lunch, and I am doing a certain amount of cleaning with a little help.
Good for you.
And I have a wonderful cat who loves me, and that's the only love left around the surrounding walls. So I'm very fortunate.
If you don't mind, I know this is slightly personal. How do you? What things most interest you now? What things really keep your attention?
Well, the fact that we had this great big thing on my party with the president of the university, who did the main speech and told of some of the things I've done, which I think was very kind of him.
I think it's excellent.
But I'm still very interested in getting elders or seniors, whatever you want to call us, more interested in keeping the mind open and enlarging.
That's what I meant by the question. And how is it that yours, and I'm not being flattering, I'm just telling you the exact truth.
Well,
how did you keep yourself so vigorous, mentally?
Oh, well, I listen to the CBC everything I can, because now look, that's not, it sounds like a
hard case,
but what I really mean is, I have used the CBC for the education I couldn't afford to get. And when I told the former president of the university I hadn't gone to university because of the Depression, I'm a survivor. I worked for $5 a month and nothing more, and worked terribly hard at housework. There was nothing else to do. But he said to me, "My dear, you're getting in from the top now," and he gave me an honorary doctorate.
Good for you. Good for you.
Well, I have been I have the Governor General's Medal for the Persons Award, and was in Ottawa on the 18th of October last, because I'm the oldest, the oldest living recipient of the Persons Medal.
That's really,
which says, for the betterment of women in Canadian society. And believe me, we have a long way to go, Rex.
Yeah, Jean, were you always in BC, or have you been?
No, born in Brandon, Manitoba, and gravitated across the prairies, trying to find work and trying to get a little bit more understanding about women in need.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get
women's shelters. There's one named after me in Hope.
Okay. I want to get, before we let you go, I know I'm interrupting you, but we got about 45 seconds. If you had one piece, because you're the kind of mind I want, you had one piece of advice for other elderly people out there now, what would that be?
Keep your mind fresh and open to anything that is beneficial to you and those with whom you spend your time.
Well, I can't imagine the president of the university had a more proper use for an honorary degree than to lay it on your shoulders.
Well, of course, Reg, it's because I like to eat very much and cook, and I like to sing, and the other thing is I never want to get insensitive about anybody else who's ever lived. That's terribly important.
Your philosophy is strong, your voice is good. I'm really glad you gave us a call. Thank you very much.
Oh, I hope to meet you someday.
One of these days we will. Take care.
This was lovely. Bye-bye.
So we we had our first centenarian. This is really good. Gene Scott, thanks very much for your call. I'd like to say thank you to everybody else who called as well. If you missed part of the program, you can tune in again online. Go to the website, cbc.ca/checkup. There you will find streaming audio, MP3 downloads, and a podcast. Our regular mail is at Cross Country Checkup, CBC Radio, Box 500, Station A, Toronto, M5W1E6. The email is checkup@cbc.ca. I'd like to say thank you to Shefali Sajani, Chuck Malgut, Alison Roverman, Gordy Warnoff, and Emily Burke. Technical production, Elena Gleeshy. Cross Country Checkup is produced by Zeus and Charles Shanks and Annalisa Cosmo.